At Sierra, discover great deals on top brand workout gear, like high-quality walking shoes, which might lead to another discovery.
40,000 steps, baby. Who's on top now, Karen?
You've taken the office step challenge a step too far. Don't worry, though. Sierra also has yoga gear. It might be a good place to find your zen. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
This episode is brought to you by Polestar. There's only one true way to experience the all-electric luxury SUV Polestar 3, and that's to take a test drive. It can go from 0 to 60 in as little as 4.8 seconds with the dynamic handling of a sports car. But to truly understand how it commands the road, you need to be behind the wheel. Up to 350 miles of range, the 3D surround sound system by Bowers & Wilkins. It's all something you have to experience to believe. So book your test drive for Polestar 3 today at Polestar.com.
We'll get to JuJu here in a second, but one of the reasons, what happened, Tony?
It's a rock and a hard place, Dan. You're trying to do something. You're trying to take care of your people at the same time. What I am excited about is that this has birthed something different now with the 4-part series of trying to go back and fight Brad eventually.
Yeah, that's a ripoff and a scam, un paquete.
No, it's not un paquete.
I'm not going to let you do that. There's not going to be a 4-part series of you going back and forth to Vegas, not sparring anybody.
It'll just be one part back to Vegas.
No,
right?
that's
next year, though. We're not even worried about that.
There's a trip with Zaz's kid.
No,
that's a different thing, too.
We're not doing any of that.
I'm going to start training. Okay?
In fairness, they can't forget Owens 4 times. You wouldn't think.
Speaking of the combat sports, though, I was curious whether any of you here were going to watch Canelo and Crawford this weekend. I don't think that Crawford would be a huge underdog in that fight. He's going to be an underdog. But I had a conversation with a friend of mine who loves boxing. And
your boxing friends.
I do have a good number of boxing friends. Yes, thank you. They're different.
Sweet science
They're
friends.
Different from my mixed martial arts friends.
Dan Sugar.
They're different.
Do they ever get together with your math friends?
They do not. They are very different kinds of friends. Thank you for asking all of the follow-up questions. I appreciate your curiosities.
Those friends told you that the fight's in September, right?
The Crawford and Canelo fight, when I asked whether or not they were going to watch it, the answer was no from my friend. And then I said, it's on Netflix. And he's like, oh, yes, I'll watch that because it's free. And that's how Netflix is going to make its money on these live sports, is by doing things like that. And that's a fight that people are going to want to watch. I would bet Crawford there just for the value, because I don't think he's going to be a huge dog there, but I do think he's probably, you could look it up for me, what kind of dog he is, because he's got to be a dog. JuJu at Batard show here. We've got a number of things to get to with JuJu, polls and other things, but I don't know whether you wanted to talk about any other WNBA things, but A'ja Wilson getting hurt is the kind of news that is crushing for WNBA fans. You do not want a star of that magnitude leaving a game with an injury.
Yeah, before we get to that, I just want to make sure you know that fight is not this weekend. We will not be seeing Canelo and Terrence Crawford fight this weekend, to all the listeners.
September 13th. Yeah, September 13th. By the way, Canelo minus 190, Crawford plus 150.
My bad. Sorry about that. Thank you, JuJu. Good correction there. But I did ask this week. I shouldn't have said this weekend.
For sure. And yeah, A'ja Wilson, she'll be all right. You feel me? Like, the Aces, they played wonderful without her yesterday. Nalissa Smith has been a great addition. They've had a down year. They haven't got what they expected to get from Jewel Lloyd at all, in my opinion, just yet. Chelsea Gray. There's a lot of stuff going on with the chemistry, you feel me, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because they also got new pieces. Nye, they got Dana shooting big tray balls. I think they'll be all right, but A'ja going down, it just gives them a little time to get themselves together before the big dog return.
What do you have for us in terms of criticism today? What is it that the fans of the show are lamenting today that we did poorly?
I try not to get into the poorness anymore, because after Men's Mental Health Month, I realize we giving these folks a voice on the platform. They be so mean to us a lot of time. I just like to cover. I don't know what happened over the time I was gone from the weekend, but I got a lot of DMs and a lot of messages about how they was just mad at the show for some reason, but they was cussing me out, bro. They was calling me all kind of names again, as if I'm in charge of the content around here. Salute to the fans. I love y'all, but please, we want to show our love back to y'all when we see y'all. So you can't call me N-words and all of this when the content ain't what you thought it was. I don't make the content, fellas, ladies and gentlemen, and others. Salute, though.
Okay, so my guess is that you got some of the blowback off of Friday's shows. JuJu did not have anything to do with Friday's show.
I also don't pack the lenses.
Right. I have so little to do with anything around here. Y'all, please trust that. But back to the WNBA one time. Today is one of the most magical days in the history of days in WNBA history. It's Camp Day / Kids Day. We got games going on right now. Storm versus the Sun, and coming up in a little bit. By the time they hear this, I'll already be gone. But the Fever about to play the Valkyrie, and it's the game where all the kids just take a field trip to the arena. And man, what a loud place all these arenas be. So salute to the Kids Day and Camp Day.
Sounds terrible.
It does.
When you go to those games on Camp Day, when like I've done that, you stumble to a Marlins game on Camp Day.
It's a constant buzz.
So loud.
Yeah.
But yeah, the kids, they got to cheer on Angel Reese yesterday, putting up big numbers in Washington against the Mystics. The Mystics got a good W, a team effort. The entire team scored except Emily Ensler, the Inskinator. You feel me? But Camp Day, best day in history for the even the women playing. They get such a big pump out of that, man. Salute.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Do you hate Camp Day at the ballpark? At Le Batard Show. What do you have for us in terms of bet updates and your betting in general, which generally results in you getting 2 out of 3 when we need 3 out of 3?
Right. I feel like ESPN or whoever makes documentaries, Meadowlark, hey, let's make a documentary on. No one has ever gone 2 for 3 consecutively more than I have, bruh. Like the last Thursday Thunder again, 2 for 3. Oh, it's like, it's so crushing because I'm placing the 3 bets, and it's always that last mother trucker that gets me going. Like, salute
it's
to
cruel.
the best, though.
It's cruel.
Right.
What's happening to you? I am now following your bets, and I'm legitimately mathematically amazed when I talk to my math friends. Not my boxing friends or not my mixed martial arts friends, at the number of times that JuJu will not just come close on 2 for 3, how close the third one always is. Like what's happening to you with these bets is legitimately cruel.
Right, bruh. Right, it's definitely cruel. But I would like to also throw in from earlier today's show, we do like the micro bets as well, though. Like, if you out there and you taking place in these micro bets, make sure you making those micro bets with DraftKings, baby.
The crown is yours.
At Le Batard Show, if you want to vote on any of the polls, let's update some of the polls here. We've had a number of them while JuJu has been traveling. What do we have today to get to?
Yes. Do you know that your privates are okay without your dermatologist's help? 68% of the audience says yes, they do.
But do you?
Right.
Follow it up on the poll. But do you? Just put it. But do you? Because Chris is saying he's just not inspecting anything down there. Like he needs someone's help.
I don't want my doctor asking me if everything's fine down there. That just doesn't seem how that should work.
Would an umpire call a balk if a meteor distracted the pitcher by hitting home plate? 91% of the audience says yes, he would still call that balk.
Yeah.
It feels wrong. We're all in agreement on this, right? If you flinch involuntarily because of a nearby lightning strike, we should temporarily suspend baseball rules for that moment.
Who's pro that balk? Like, who's out there arguing that?
There was one person on the entire field who felt it should be a balk. It happened to be the home plate umpire.
I would say on the field of Earth, on any field on Earth, it just happened to be the guy umpiring that game. There are 2 things today that happened that were very unfortunate. One is that pitcher facing the one umpire in the world who would call that, and the drunk golfer fighting and deciding to fight someone he would then learn had 167 professional hockey fights. Those 2 things are terrible things to learn that way. What else you got there, JuJu?
Right. Also, as a side note, Zaz, the bangs are bang-yanging today, brother. Looking good, brother.
Super confident today.
Yes, sir. When your private parts are being checked by a doctor, do you want any small talk beforehand? 80% of the audience says no, they don't.
Beforehand?
Or afterhand.
When you say yeah, before, after, certainly not duringhand. Do you want to talk duringhand? Not beforehand, not afterhand, not duringhand. No talk. Don't talk to me.
Just trying to get in and out.
Don't even look at me, honestly.
Right. Do you love pushing back in a rolling chair?
I love that.
92% of the audience says yes. It's the worst thing a friend can do is ask you to help them move. 86% of the audience says yes, it is.
Wow, worst thing.
I mean, it's such an imposition.
The worst?
Pick me up from the airport's not great.
Oh, that's how I should have asked the question. What's a worse thing for your friend to ask you to do? Help you move or pick you up from the airport?
Yeah, I'd rather lose your friendship than pick you up from the airport. Like, it was a good.
I'll send an Uber.
Yeah, especially now, right? When you can just send a stranger who's already over there.
Yep, I'm here. My name's Fred, and I'm in a Dodge Caravan. Thank you.
Do you use the word sacked anywhere besides football? 54% of the audience says no, they don't.
46% of the audience is using sacked routinely.
Come on, get over yourselves.
I mean, sometimes you get ball sacked.
Yeah, true that. Last poll, does Bezos in private refer to everyone as the pores?
Come on, what are we doing?
99%.
We've never had this happen before.
Oh, wow.
It's an early poll.
Oh.
But 100% of the audience says yes, he does.
Thank you. Wow.
And those are your polls.